Hi guys, it's been the sensation of the year already. I think it just had the fortune of dropping Tiger King at the time that we all went into lockdown. So there was a captive audience, wasn't there? Literally captive. Did you get it? See what I did there? Tiger's captive. And I kept hearing about it, and I kept seeing photos of Joe Exotic and thinking,
what is this?
What is this? What is this? But you kept seeing memes, girls, didn't you? And
About Carole Baskin, yeah.
About Carole Baskin. So
Did you know a lot about it then before we watched it?
I just knew about Carole Baskin.
You just knew about Carole Baskin. So this is the series Tiger King. You've been asking us to do our reaction to it. Now this is just, we're not going to react to every episode. It's just such a long and in many ways incredibly complicated story.
I still can't quite believe what we watched.
No, and really I'd say that probably some of the most arresting parts of it aren't just what people do or don't do, but what people talk about doing, but really is what people are like. That's the most arresting part of it.
The depths of depravity that humanity can go to.
Yeah, and the characters that are in it. So as you started, we all watched this together, didn't we? You didn't watch any on your own.
Oh, we watched the first episode.
What did you think when you first watched it?
I just thought it was weird. Yeah, you kind of just can't believe it's
so weird.
Real.
You can't, can you? I mean, at first I thought it was what they call a mockumentary.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
You know, like that.
All of the people in it, unbelievable.
Well, they're so unbelievable.
Saying this to Daddy yesterday, if you saw that in a film, you'd go, "Oh, it's too ridiculous."
It's totally
I mean,
ridiculous.
what could nobody would ever be. A group of people would never behave like that. It's just. I mean, how many times were we all like this? Like properly gobsmacked.
But it was the strangest
And like
thing.
we said in each episode, they were like, "That's when it really got."
When the shit got real.
That's when the shit really hit the fan.
Realer?
Yeah.
we were all like almost terrified, weren't we? It was like,
So
God, how much
terrified.
worse is it going to
And it
get?
would get worse.
Yeah, and it does, and it just keeps getting worse. And I can't help but feel it's going to carry on getting worse. So it's the story of Joe Exotic, who, let's just talk about Joe Exotic for a minute. What a phenomenal character. I've become slightly obsessed. I'm
Me
a bit,
too.
have you,
It's
stalking
really-
him a bit online. Have you seen the moment that Louis Theroux met him?
No.
Yes, because I knew I'd seen him before and I'd seen him in
Yeah,
the
Netflix have just posted on their YouTube
Yeah.
channel the time that Louis Theroux went to his, and basically he says to Louis Theroux at one point, he says, if anyone else is going to euthanize, kill all of the tigers, I'll do it first. And Louis Theroux keeps returning to this question, did you actually, you know, in that way Louis Theroux does, did you really mean it when you said you'd euthanize them yourself? And he said, yeah. He's like, but then you're doing what they're going to do? He said, I'd rather I did it than them.
Oh, because I mean, he's just, I mean, in
He's
my
just so
opinion,
mental.
though of course I'm not a psychiatrist, he appears to show narcissistic, sociopathic, egotistical psychopathy. I mean,
But it
he
was so
has
weird
no
because-
boundaries. He doesn't care what he says.
No.
He doesn't care. I mean, let's not forget all the times he threatened her Baskin's life.
He was an addict, though.
Was he an addict?
Yeah, he did
I don't
meth
think-
with them. He's
yeah.
literally, there's a video of him going around on social media where he's like, I'm broke as hell, I've done drugs, I'm gay.
Oh, really?
No, he's done drugs, but I don't think he was much of an addict as the boys.
I think he was, did you see him the whole time? He's like,
Yeah, he was always twitching his face. And
He was totally
I think the
an
inference
addict.
was maybe it was that he
he's
wasn't
like
saying it.
this all the time.
And those beautiful men he got to marry him, who were
But
straight.
none of them were gay.
Who were straight.
No, but he's got something about him, Joe. I can see why somebody would, like, I feel like he's someone you can't say no to. Not because you
I know
like
what you
want
mean.
to, because
He was very spellbinding. He was.
because he's like.
Did you have any soft spot in your heart for Joe Exotic, Geeky?
No, at points I felt sorry for him, and I know I shouldn't.
Well, towards the end I did.
I did.
Yeah, towards the end I did, because he's clearly ill.
He's clearly not well in the head,
Yeah,
and
no,
like
he's
he
got-
shouldn't be in charge of a tiger facility,
Tiger
especially considering he's terrified of tigers.
Okay, I'm going
It
to ask.
wasn't just him, was it? I mean, the other tiger owners, the really,
Yeah,
Wow.
like the
the
ones,
really dark one who was very careful
Well,
and
the ones
media
that-
savvy.
the
No,
ones that
no.
set him up.
The
And
one.
Carole
No, not those ones. The other guy that
Yeah.
had the other tiger part that had all the girls dressed up in the porn
Yeah,
outfit.
Yeah,
yeah.
but so were the people that set him up. Also, Carole
Yeah.
Baskin, I thought she was weird, and there wasn't enough.
Doc
It was a good-
Antle.
She's
Doc
just as
Antle.
crazy as he is.
Yeah, it was a really good study on what is the goodies and the baddies, and they were all blurred. And in the end, the only true goodies, as far as I was concerned, was the lovely man without legs and the woman who'd had her arm eaten by the tiger.
Look, can I just,
No.
for anyone who
Also,
hasn't
the
watched,
guy that saw Joe's husband shoot himself.
Oh, he was lovely. Who became his kind of campaign manager, didn't he? He was
one
his
of my
campaign
favourite
manager.
people, and it was the guy with the long blonde
Oh,
hair.
he was
just-
brilliant. The
He was
zookeeper,
lovely.
the
He
head
was
zookeeper.
lovely.
There are so many sort of really fractured, because one of the things Joe Exotic was doing, he was kind of finding homeless people and people down on their luck.
Bringing them in with
bringing
drugs.
them in with drugs, bringing them in with...
Abusing them.
Well, not so overtly. I think if it had been that overtly, it wouldn't have been... I mean, he was taking
Yeah,
advantage, I think would be a way of
He
putting
said-
it.
Did you see the way he was screaming at them, taking away their
No,
food?
no.
They were starving.
I
He
know.
was bringing in old food from and they were having to scrabble around for food.
He was bringing in food, rejected food from Walmart.
They were one step up from being slaves, those people.
Well, I think, they were possibly treated
I
worse.
think he was
What did you
incredibly
girls, what did you
abused.
think of the tigers?
I felt sorry for them. I felt like they were kind of overlooked the whole time.
But didn't you think that was funny? It was kind of like, what I thought was very clever about the way the documentary series was made was that tigers in and of themselves, and I filmed with tigers in cages, they're such an amazing thing to look at.
Yeah.
You know, that's enough for a documentary just to look at these amazing beasts. And it became like these tigers were watching these nutters.
No, they were just in the background.
Yeah, but it was like, I almost felt the tigers were going, are these for real? Are
Because
these-
it's funny, isn't it? Because at the beginning we really believed that he loved lions
Yes,
and
we did.
tigers.
Yeah.
But actually he
And
didn't
bears.
at all.
No,
The reveal was he
but
didn't
also
at all.
they said, didn't they? I think it was the guy, the really sweet one with the glasses, that said it. But he said that he believes that when Joe first started it, he started it for a good reason,
Yeah.
and it was
And
because
he lost
he
his
didn't care about
way.
the animals, but the
Yeah.
money just like he ended up turning and not caring at all.
Who do you think was the most evil character or characters?
Good
Who are your top couple of? Because there was so much darkness in so many of them.
Because I
wasn't
don't know,
there?
because I see Carole Baskin being really slimy.
See, I found her very
I
dark.
found Carole Baskin really
very
sinister.
dark. I did.
just
Did
secretly.
you find her
really-
terrifying?
Secretly.
Okay,
though.
here's the question. Did she kill her husband?
I think she did.
Yeah?
It's the way that whenever anybody's asked it, anybody else in the documentary goes, "Of course." Hell yeah, she did. She totally fed that guy.
It's
the
such a
time.
good... There was something about
And the fact that the husband that she supposedly fed to the tigers, ex and mother, said that
they had
that
the
he came
family.
to them saying he was terrified of her. And
Yeah.
that he
But
wasn't
the only
safe.
one that cast doubts on it was there was one person that said he'd come and said to him, if he pulls off what he's going to pull off, it will be the greatest thing. Do you remember that guy
Yes.
that said that? And he
Yeah.
was the lawyer.
Yes.
Well, in the suggestion that he'd actually done a runner, but why wouldn't he have taken his money?
Who are you talking about?
Carole Baskin's husband that was murdered.
Oh, I see. Could he
Or
have,
is
could
he
he
alive?
have, could he have run off?
No,
Yeah.
but he's been missing. He would have contacted.
No,
his
but the
mother or
lawyer
something.
said he'd said to him the night
Yeah,
before,
that
if
the
I
husband
manage
had
to
said,
pull
if
off
I
what
manage
I'm
to pull off,
planning,
yeah.
it'll be the greatest, the smoothest thing, suggesting that he was going to do a runner and disappear.
There was something about
Yeah, but
Carole
he probably
Baskin
tries
that
to
was
do a runner and
deeply,
she-
deeply uncomfortable and discomforting. And
She was
the
as much of a
irony,
psychopath
well,
as
and the
he
irony
was.
was she was doing,
They were all
under the
psychopaths.
guise of doing it for good moral reasons, she was doing the same thing as all the other
In
tiger.
fact, I thought her park looked worse than his
Did it look
park.
shambolic? Now, one of my favourite other characters was the.
And what about the slaves?
Hang on. Was the
people
guy?
she had working for her, Carole Baskin.
Yeah.
All those people that had to work for a year before they'd get a T-shirt, and then had to work for another year before they'd get a T-shirt and a cap.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like he was.
Yeah, no, it was just different,
real
but it was done
paradise.
with the idea that they were rescuing animals. What did we think of the guy with the Stetson, who was the original program maker in there? Guy who was
Oh my God,
smoking,
I loved him.
and he was
Loved.
talking about, and it was all his footage that went up.
The worst year of my life, and I never recovered. I was more time, yes, had to
Face,
get away from me.
his face looked like it was made of plastic.
I loved
It
him.
was brilliant.
He was
He
phenomenal.
was like something from a movie.
He was so like something out of a movie.
Which character do you miss the most? Because I really missed the show. I want to be watching it.
Well, I hate to say it, I miss Joe Exotic.
Yeah, me too.
As
There's
soon as
something really like capture. I don't know what it is.
Captivating.
About him, but it's, yeah.
Well, as soon as he was in prison and I knew we were only leaning on the audio tapes, I got not frustrated or bored because all the other characters were wonderful, but I got slightly frustrated that we weren't going to be with him again.
We still got footage of him.
Yeah, but it was kind of, we knew that,
No,
you know,
I thought
knowing
it
that
was
he's
just
locked.
it was just as
He's locked.
captivating.
I mean, I'm just imagining how mad he's going inside. I mean, imagine
And
how.
apparently he's still trying to talk to fans in the prison.
Is he?
So
Yeah.
they're not fans.
So what else have you seen on social media beyond the show that you know? Because there's been all sorts of stuff.
There's just memes already. It's just like everybody thinks Carole Baskin fed her husband to the
But isn't there the
toilet.
inference that he's been romantically involved with his tigers?
Oh, that's in the news though. That's
That's
not
in the
social
news?
Media,
Okay, do you think, because I felt by the end of it, and what basically the whole series
yeah.
moves
When they were
towards...
little, when the tigers
Yeah.
were younger.
I thought it was
Oh,
funny
right.
when at the end he said, oh, he's actually terrified of tigers.
I know
But
he
he's
has-
only ever in with the
He
blind
was only
one.
ever in with the blind one and one that
one
was
tranquilised.
anaesthetised.
And when he bites his foot, that lion.
No, see, okay, so I felt sorry for him a bit there because nobody went in and helped him.
Well, they put something on his shoe.
I know, but that's quite evil.
That is quite evil,
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
look at the way he abused them.
I know, but he didn't put, like...
But did you find
sense on it.
the oddest thing about him was that he was a bit of a Hicksville redneck, and yet he was gay, and that part.
Oh my god,
of
yeah!
him-
When he first like it was
Yeah.
first said that he was gay, I was like, he just seems like the sort of person that would like totally be against.
But there was that really compassionate moment, I thought, where he talked about how it was really hard coming out in his community, and in
God,
that
did
he's
you
probably
imagine?
one of
Tried to
a.
kill himself.
Yeah, exactly. He tried to kill himself. That's
I feel
right.
like he's.
Yeah, he
so
told you-
drove into a river.
Yeah, he did. He drove into a river. I mean, it's a very dramatic. Yeah, he said he tried to kill himself in his car. That's right. Yeah, you're right. He did.
So the reason why I feel like he was evil, he was a psychopath, he did a lot of wrong things, and I don't like feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
There were moments in the show where I felt sorry for him because he's clearly not mentally well, and he shouldn't have been allowed to run a park like that. Like,
I mean, it's
there's
just
no way he was
insane.
going to run it like
It's that crazy American thing again, isn't it? That could never
Fairly.
happen here. Never.
I don't know. It probably does behind
No.
the scenes.
Okay, if you had a crush on anyone in it, who did you have a crush? I'll tell you who I had a bit of a weird crush on.
No.
Doc Antle.
Which was that?
The guy with the harem of women. There was something about his straight... No, but there was something Josh Brolin-y about him.
Horrible.
Josh
He was
Brolin
the most
should...
awful pervert.
He was
a
one of the
pervert.
worst.
He was really.
But he was a rock-solid pair of
I think he was the
hands.
most evil person in the whole thing because he was very PR savvy. He had girls there as slaves. Don't forget that girl's story of how he got them all there, how he worked them.
And the way he talked about all the others as if they were so much
But there was
better.
something about him that
made
was
her have a
very,
boob
very
job,
powerful.
because he was a proper cult figure. The
He
fact
was a
that there
proper cult leader,
He was a
Dan.
cult leader.
I've been indoctrinated. He'd have had me wearing all sorts of
He
floozy
would.
stuff.
You'd have been
stroking.
dressed up in a tiger suit before you could say Jaxie.
A tiger sort of, tight suit.
I really liked Joe's husband, the one that was toothless, that isn't toothless anymore.
He's got all his teeth
He was
now.
quite sweet though, don't you think?
There was
He
something
seemed
very
really
naive
innocent.
about
like,
him.
I
He
felt
was
so
just,
sorry for
I
the
felt-
second
in all of
husband.
but all of the footage as well, he was like just quietly there in the background as well. What's going on? He was like, I think all the meth damaged my brain a bit. I mean, it's still quite damaged.
Still quite, I mean, they had
I'm
such
still
a...
not fully good.
But you know what I liked about all the support interviewees though? They had, on the one hand, they all could sort of laugh at themselves in a way.
They were all very open.
They were all very open, but
And I
even
love-
Joe Exotic laughed at himself.
Oh yeah.
Because there's
I
a
don't
moment-
think he could not. Laugh.
You have to go and check out the Louis Theroux chat with him, because there's a moment where Louis Theroux said, you're clearly in a state of paranoia. And Joe's just looking at him and he goes, is this a new thing or have you always been like this? He went, I've always been like this. And it was like, you could see there was a thing passed over Louis Theroux's face where he's like, okay, fair enough, this is just this. But he could even
that
laugh
poor
at himself.
boy, the second husband.
I didn't like all that.
And when you saw him going, and
That
he
was
was
really
like
messed
that.
What was
that
the most?
so
That was the
messed
most arresting moment in the whole show.
That was the-
What happened?
So sorry for him.
Yeah, but when he off
He was
camera.
an addict and he like just managed to.
And he was
just
having to have
kind of
sex with him to get
groomed
meth.
him into marrying him with drugs. It was
But what
just
happened
weird.
on that most arresting shot? That most arresting
Well,
So
scene?
when he killed himself.
I-
Well, I don't know, but part of me it's even like slightly worse that like was like after the documentary that the guy that saw him shoot himself
This is
said
the
that he knew
boyfriend or
that he
husband
didn't
of Joe
mean
Exotic.
to shoot himself in the head,
Yeah.
and he could see in those 5
He could
seconds
s-
he
oh,
was
right.
still alive.
That means the bullet must have gone into his head and there must have been a look.
He said 5 seconds
God.
before he died.
I thought the film was freeze framed. I couldn't
So
believe
did
it.
I.
They went like,
It's
know. And it
quite
went
a
on
dramatic moment. That's in about
Went on
episode
forever,
7, isn't
didn't
it?
it? When he was just looking into it, just like.
Yeah, no, I say it's really interesting because if somebody like in a film, if somebody were to like
Yeah,
kill themselves and someone was watching, if the actor were to go
like
no,
he
that-
did.
he would hold their face.
Yeah, be
up
like,
their
retake
mouth.
that. That's ridiculous. You're not
But
reacting.
like it was so weird.
was so
the
weird.
reaction was really interesting.
It was so weird.
So who are you going to miss the most?
Joe,
Um,
I think.
yeah.
He's
I
so
think Joe.
entertaining.
I'm very.
And the fact that he wanted to be president. is
Hang on a
so
minute.
Forgotten that
crazy.
bit.
Hang on a minute. What about the really sinister character who bought the zoo off him, Jeff,
Yeah,
with his bandana?
I found
Who
him
likes
so
swingers
watchable.
parties in Las
He was
Vegas.
So disgusting.
he was the one that would bring tigers to Las Vegas to get
Yes,
women, and
and
then
bring
got the
women
nanny
up.
because he wanted a nanny
The
that's
nanny.
nice to look at.
Who did you think was the most unsavoury, Kiki?
I hated that guy that the the hitman.
Oh, the bald guy.
Oh, him with the tear.
He was
Oh, he
very
was so
dark.
chilling.
He was
You guys said at the start
You
that you thought he
liked
was
him.
quite
Yeah,
friendly.
Right at the beginning I did, but
You
after...
liked him.
So did you,
I
Dad? You
never
both went, he
liked him.
seems quite sweet.
He was clearly. I mean, the great thing is, what do you think, guys, watching this? Because I
such
think
a liar.
Joe Exotic has been totally framed. That's not to say
I
he
did.
wasn't. He
He's
didn't
done
do what
bad
he did to
stuff
the
that he
Tigers.
deserves
He's
to
done
be
bad
in
stuff.
prison for.
But I don't think he did actually give that guy money to
No,
shoot
because he
him.
hasn't got any money. His bed, look at his bed.
His bedroom. I was
And then when
thinking
he
about
gets
the
that
smell.
other gorgeous-looking young man to marry him, and he takes him back to that bedroom where we see
Well,
him
hang
talking
on a minute.
about-
We virtually see it in the film, him grooming that boy on that date.
I know.
And he takes
That
them
new
to
one.
see the
But he
new
actually
one.
ends up loving it.
And he's a sweetie.
Yeah, because he's been groomed.
Okay, well, one of the things they talk
But
about...
the other two didn't care about Joe at all.
No.
They left him.
I mean, it's literally a series where in every episode there are jaw-dropping moments. It sagged
Jaw-dropping.
for a moment for me at about episode 4. Push past that. I mean, some people you know have said, why would I want to watch this? Because it's about American people that are particularly unsavoury.
Stupid American.
But what would you say in combat to that if people would say it's just stupid
Right, that's
American?
exactly what I said. I said it's a fascinating study of the human condition. I mean, there's nothing
It's
more
not as simple
delicious.
as just stupid.
No.
American.
No, it's not as simple.
It's not.
It's much more complicated than that.
It really
I
is.
should just say they're stupid as well.
They're
It's
complex.
They're complex, but also it does that clever thing where, as a documentary maker, when you go, I mean, I've made many films over the years, haven't I, where I've filmed with quirky individuals. Think of the Happy House and the talent agency, you know. And these real people, on the one hand, you can sort of laugh at them and they're sort of put out there by the program makers for us to look at and go, oh my God, you're ridiculous. But then what really makes them work is that when you get to know them, right or wrong, there are human impulses at work. And so, like you say, it does become a fascinating study of sort of normal parts of a personality that have been allowed to go to extreme places. You know, they're like human caricatures, aren't they?
I was worried about watching it at first because usually when anything that like is a Netflix original gets this much hype, it's disappointing.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even going to watch this. But and I know a lot of other people
Very
who
good
suggested
point.
it to. They're just like, oh no, like everybody likes
Right.
it. And it's like,
Well, your
yeah,
friend
but
Lee
it's
was
just
saying
one
that,
of
wasn't it?
those
Where everyone
things.
talks about Carole Baskin. Who the hell's Carole Baskin?
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about.
Have any of your
Eyes is
friends
good.
watched it, Kiki?
No, only Johnny. My other friends didn't see the point.
Oh, really? For the same reason, probably.
What did Johnny think?
He loves it.
Does
Does
he?
he?
Does he?
I've
Okay, well, look, one of the great things they did in there's a final episode, and as Maddie says, it really does live up to the hype, I think. I thought this was going to be overhyped, and that's where I almost started to depart from it. I thought it's not going to be able to maintain this across an episode series of 9 or 8 or whatever it was. And there was one moment where it sagged, and then it just recharges itself. Even though you kind of already know from social media what's out there, nothing prepares you for actually hearing the story and seeing it told. But all of the actors, all of the characters in it have talked about the actors. They like to play themselves. And
I was still,
well, there are some that are just brilliant. And as we're talking, I'll pop them up on the screen. Joe Exotic has nominated someone himself.
Of course he has.
And any guesses? Who he might have nominated himself?
Have a guess. For really good looking.
Really good looking. Think of him.
Seen as a real hunk. Older now.
Yeah.
Older.
I don't know who's this.
Married to a very, very famous
The
actress.
amount of actors.
Yeah.
Now
you're
they're divorced.
describing.
Yeah.
I know his name. I've forgotten it.
Angelina's husband.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joe Exotic wants Brad Pitt.
Actually, you know what? It might work.
It might if
If he's made up.
if he's made up with the mullet, it would be
And
great.
Brad Pitt could go there.
Okay,
He could
Carole Baskin. The suggestion is that Kate McKinnon,
be.
who is from I think Saturday Night Live, so she's
Oh yes! Oh my God, she'd be brilliant as her.
so
She's
that
such a good actress.
and she's a great actress to be able to play that sort of empty-eyed, helter-skelter.
Yeah, no, she-
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
I mean, I just...
I've
No,
never
it's the bit
felt.
where they're all
Just
planning
because
on
I
killing her
buried
dad,
him.
and she's like, "I just got a cute hair."
Oh my God, that was so
Hi,
funny. The
kiddies. Hi,
cross-cutting.
kiddies. Hi,
Yeah.
kiddies. Just because I buried him 6 foot under,
Yeah.
doesn't mean I didn't still
Whilst
like
Joe
him.
Exotic is blowing the heads off mannequins,
about
she's
when-
going, "Look at me!"
When
on my.
her current husband was just singing to her, and she was just like,
Well, guess who her current husband?
Oh, that song.
Howard Baskin. Howard Baskin would like Steve Buscemi to play
"Oh,
him.
that would work."
That's
Isn't that great?
perfect.
From Fargo. He's one of my favourite actors as well. Perfect casting. Doc Antle, who's the guy with all the women in
Who you
Floozy.
love.
Yeah, who I love. Guess who? Will Ferrell.
Oh my God, yeah. Yes.
That's
He was
great.
great. Will Ferrell. I mean, this film has to be made with this, just with the casting so far. Jeff Lowe, who's the swingers, LA nutter, Las Vegas nutter. Sean Penn.
Oh,
Oh my
yes.
God,
Good.
Yeah.
It's
He looks
good.
God, he's so evil. I've got the shudders again. just
Look
seeing
at him,
his
just
face
the way he's
again.
looking back. What's under his hat?
She's going to have this baby, then she's going to get herself
What is-
back fit again, slim again
Oh my
in the gym
God!
again.
Do you remember him looking at the photos? Lauren, who was
Oh, yeah.
who was his girlfriend, to be played by what's her name, Isla Fisher.
Oh yeah, Alan
Oh,
Fisher
yeah.
would do that well.
That's good. This is
Constant eye
good.
contact.
Oh, she was great in Tag though.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, the head keeper. What did he say? Who did he say should play him? Matthew McConaughey. They're saying
Yeah.
Bill Hader. I think Bill Hader.
No,
No,
wasn't
no,
him
that
that
was
said
the
Matthew
legless
McConaughey,
one.
it's
Oh, the legless one. So Bill Hader to play
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be
Yeah.
quite good. Is he the one in it?
Yeah, Bill
Yeah,
Hader's
yeah,
quite good.
that's good. What about that scene when he was drunk on the bed?
I know.
He just fell asleep. Whilst, I mean, there were moments. Oh my God, John Finlay, the toothless husband,
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh my God, yeah. You would do it really well.
You do it so well. And yeah, John Rink,
Huh?
the guy with the legs. Look at that.
Brothers.
Matthew
They could be
McConaughey.
brothers.
Sheer brothers.
It's brilliant. So who's going to direct this film? I don't know who that one is. Oh, and look, Rick Kirkham, Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah,
Oh.
they said that, didn't they?
Oh, Billy Bob Thornton.
I mean, it should kind of be directed by the Coen brothers, I think, who did Fargo and all that kind of stuff. And oh look, and he's the guy from
Oh my God, yes.
Frozen. Olaf from Frozen.
Frozen.
Frozen. Anyway, well there you go. I think that's really fun. Any other suggestions you've got for who should play each character? What did you think of it? What would we give it as a score?
Who would play the hitman?
The Hitman.
Oh my God.
I haven't suggested that.
Alan.
Oh, who could play the Hitman? You
Well,
know,
Joe's current husband. That
Joe's
would be-
current husband. They're
Zac
suggesting Zac
Efron.
Efron.
Yeah.
And
he'd
do
be
you
good
know
at
what?
that part
I
as
think
well.
all these actors will say yes to it.
I think they
because
will. It's gonna
great-
be-
They'd be
Shia
mad
LaBeouf.
to say
the
You're not
chance,
Shia
the
would say
chance
yes.
to play those
So
characters.
often-
It would be a surefire hit. Okay, quickly, if you had to give it a score out of 100, what would you give it?
100.
100?
100,
100?
100.
3,000.